And as many homeowners continue to clean up after last year's storms, a lot of people in Florida have not prepared for this year's hurricane season. Fox 13's Genevieve Curtis went to find out why. And Genevieve, you found that it's really just all because of money, right?
I mean, it really is, Allie. An insurance industry recent report showed that about 30% of homeowners say they haven't prepared for hurricane season simply because of the costs associated with it. But experts we spoke to say there are a couple key things that you could be doing right now that really won't break the bank.
Look at your budget, do what you can, get the insurance you need. The last thing you need is not to be able to restore your largest asset.
When it comes to preparing for hurricane season, former Deputy Insurance Commissioner Lisa Miller says now is the time to evaluate your roof and windows, but also your insurance policy. She says you'll want to pay close attention to this part of your policy, the front page, which shows how much you have to rebuild your home.
So if your coverage A amount is $300,000, you need to ask a contractor. Who better to tell you if $300,000 is enough to rebuild your home? Can I rebuild my home for that amount of money? And the reason I say this is because inflation has increased the values of our home so much, and the cost of materials is so expensive. A piece of plywood 4 years ago was $9. Today it's $25. So please look at how much coverage you have to rebuild your home.
If the cost to rebuild your home is more than the policy covers, Miller says you're going to want to adjust your policy, especially at a time when federal disaster aid may not be available.
And in fact, the federal government's looking at cutting back on what they spend, not providing more.
Her second key recommendation is flood insurance, regardless of where you live.
If you're spending $500 a year on a flood insurance policy, that's $60 a month. Maybe we don't go out to eat twice during that month. Maybe we don't get our nails done. Maybe we don't get our car washed. Maybe we don't buy a big chocolate cake twice a month. Whatever your budget has, try to find $60 to $100 a month to buy flood insurance.
Efforts to help struggling families prepare are ongoing. The Community Development Corporation of Tampa found that those living in areas already hit hard by hunger, housing shortages, and lack of jobs were the most impacted by Helene and Milton last year. Earlier this month, the Red Cross announced it's providing a $1 million grant to set up disaster recovery centers in East Tampa and one in St. Pete.
Education over anything, because they'll be able to use that education to prepare, recover. They would also be able to find places to go after the storm to get the support that they need.
And Miller also reminding folks that you can make a policy change to your property insurance at any time during hurricane season for that to take effect. It is the flood insurance that usually takes 30 days before you would be covered, so you don't want to wait for a named storm to make that change. Reporting live in Tampa, Genevieve Curtis, Fox 13 News.